Hi friends, welcome to this very special Valentine's night reading. It is Valentine's Day of 2022, and I have to say that a few years ago, if I would be single, home alone on Valentine's night, it would have been sad for me. And tonight I can honestly say that it's not. It's just an experience that I'm having because now I can have a party with you guys. And this is where I want to be. So tonight I feel inspired to try one of the 3 deck readings that I've so admired with the other readers online. And I want to connect you with your inner being. I want to have each of you who uses the reading tonight to have an experience with the cards that is especially from your core. I believe that the part of yourself that is connected to Source or the Divine at the deepest level, like a little spark down there, is what Abraham Hicks calls your inner being. And I believe that is your source of wisdom, intuition, and guidance. And that anything that any of us try to offer you online is just the mission to get you connected to that inner being. So tonight we have 3 crystals that you get to choose from: the ammonite, the celestite, and the pyrite. And each of them has a little meaning of its own, and I will talk about that when I put the timestamps in here so that you can pick which reading you are resonating. This is deck 1, deck 2, and deck 3. So I'm also celebrating a brand new deck that I'm thrilled with because, as you know, if you've been watching me for a little while, I'm very interested in shadows. And so I have a totally black and white deck, and this tonight is our first use of it. So I'm going to draw a card for all of us to share for tonight's reading. Oh, beautiful card, isn't it? Look at that. Open portal, new beginnings, breakthrough, connect with the infinite. Can we just take a minute and let that soak in? Take a breath. It's almost a full moon. But when I look at that, what's the darkest part of the whole card? Is her outfit, right? Her image, her appearance, what she is presenting as. And it's the shadow. If we don't let our shadow have a voice, it will have a voice. But being willing to embrace the parts of ourselves that are a little bit quirky and a little bit socially unacceptable is okay, no matter what. I attract a lot of unusual people. And one of the quotes I love in life is called, "Everybody is somebody else's weirdo." So on that note, go ahead and pick whichever deck you want to pick, and I'm going to get ready for group 1 here. And I've got the cards all shuffled up. Whoops. And I don't know how to do this in a lot of the technical stuff, but you guys have been so sweet to be patient with me as I go forward with my mission. So this is what we're going to do for group 1. Okay, so group 1, your stone is pyrite, and pyrite is a stone of protection, okay? And many times they'll suggest that you get a pyrite bracelet so that it's a reminder to you, but also the skin contact, that the crystal itself has the vibration of protection. It's called fool's gold because it has a gold tone to it, but in the vibration, though, it's got so much strength and iron at its base that it brings health and healing to you emotionally. I think for us, with trusting our own inner core to believe that we're strong like iron at our core is part of what that message is right there. So we're going to just pull 3 cards here, and we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Death and Rebirth card and the 5 of Cups. Okay. And so for deck number 1, this is a deep time, isn't it? This is a time, bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Cups. This is the part that you're just out of, out of your awareness. It's the part you're not aware of behind the scenes. So when we look at this and we see a lot of walking away, every single character here has a look of confusion and not being sure, choices, slow, barefooted, off the horse. Usually the Knight of Pentacles would be an offer, but the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving of all the knights. The Death and Rebirth card has the most life on the whole reading, that beautiful sparkle of light. And look at it, it's just like our, I was going to say, it's just like our Celestite. So I feel like the Celestite, you might be get a blessing out of deck 2 in this reading, but I just felt instantly to match that beautiful sparkle of that Celestite to the center of the Rebirth card, because it's a transitional card. Something is needing to be let go of. So when I look at your what your inner being is so wanting for you to understand is that, yes, there's been some losses and there's been some deep, deep disappointments. You might be a person who's gone through a divorce or loss through death, or just some things that you don't understand. But the core of your heart, your ability to receive and to understand love, is being returned to you. A lot of it is there are choices here in your life, and many choices, and it is confusing. So I would say for you, because of the need for grounding and for being able to take care of yourself well, that I would look to, especially to things that you can do physically. You might be a person who might like working with clay and really using, in fact, you know what? I found a YouTube, I'm going to put it in the comments, no lie. I found this old Scottish guy that makes shortbread cookies using his hands. And my gut feeling is that when you're using your hands, you're going to really get some guidance. Your inner being wants you to know that you are so important, exactly the way you are. And that if it's taking you a while to find your bright light here, it's because there's been a lot that you've had to deal with. But for sure, there is a place in this for you to really grow. So I'm just going to draw a couple of cards from the Baby Tarot. And because I'm just so curious, show us what we can learn from the Knight of Pentacles. Strength. Yeah, when I look at the Strength card with the Knight of Pentacles, it's slow. But the idea of how long it takes to tame a lion, you know, the energy of gentleness, and it calls me to remind you to be very gentle with yourself, whatever the loss has been. And I think sometimes when you're working with the law of attraction, it's hard to be what you think is negative, but it's not all that negative. Trust me. It's an idea of being real with your feelings. And I'll put some resources into the notes for you to help you be a little bit more gentle with yourself. When it comes to the Death and Rebirth card, we have the Eight of Swords. And in the Eight of Swords, we have a figure whose hands are free and can walk away from what is holding her back. The Eight of Swords talks about our mind, and I love the idea of being able to create that reality with our own minds. That once we make up our mind that we're moving forward, we can transition right out of what has been keeping us trapped. But it is our choice. And again, with the Five of Cups, the clarity on that is the Two of Swords. Again, so much locked up in your thinking, okay? And if you're like me, analyze, and then analyze some more. You only have one choice to make, A or B. You want to let it go or keep it. Do you want to move forward or stay put, okay? Be sure to use that choice power that you have. So I'm going to move on to the next reading now. So thank you for being part of this group 1. Okay, group 2. All righty. Group 2, your stone is the Celestite. And the Celestite is all about, sorry, I'm going to move my camera a little bit. The Celestite is very light-hearted stone. It's a heavenly stone. It is something that's calling for rest. So a lot of times in the rest part, we're kind of cutting ourselves short. Maybe you're busy doing everybody else's tasks and not your own. In fact, they say the celestite should be placed in your bedroom to help you have deep, restful sleep. So that's where I'm going to move my celestite tonight, because I've been keeping it in my office, and it probably has been a little unhappy about that. So anyway, let's put our cards down. We're used here, and we have card number 1, 5 of Cups. Card number 2, Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. And we have the 4 of Wands. So group 2, especially when we put it together with the rest of the celestite, I would say that your situation, you do have some grief in your past. There has been some heartbreak back there, but again, who of us hasn't had that? And the figure in this card, I always think to myself, there's grief in the forefront, 3 spilled cups, 3 big disappointments maybe, but look behind. There's 2 full cups behind the character. So to me, it always is a reminder that yes, we've had heartbreaks, but it's time to get ourselves up and keep moving on, okay? So also, this man is not wearing any clothing. So that suggests to me huge vulnerability, and maybe you even hurt a man in your past and left him stripped and really feeling used. And if that's you, you know what? You just have to be okay with that. Your inner being would say, release yourself. The Wheel of Fortune, it's time for a new spin of the wheel. It's time to let yourself go. The 4 of Wands is a wonderful promise card in some decks, it's a happy little family that you see in the card. There's great celebration. There's the red and the green, the root chakra and the heart chakra. A card of real healing here for you. And when I look at all of the fruit, the wands are our passion, our manifesting power. And look, it's all in bloom. And there's 2 and 2 with the pairings here. So it does look like, as you look at yourself, what is that your inner being want for you to know? I would say that for sure, let me grab my deck for clarity, but for sure the idea of making that choice and being able to put behind you whatever it is, there's some kind of like a self-torturing, or I'm sorry, that words just came out of me, but just that you're being really hard on yourself for something in the past, okay? So let it go. It's just not worth holding on to. Okay, so our card, the clarity card for the 5 of Cups is the Chariot. Action, movement, time for change. It's time. Look at the yin and the yang here. It's like being able to use, I hear myself talking fast, lo siento. But I hear this Chariot card is supporting your movement forward, all right? And it's so you know that you're doing the right thing to acknowledge whatever it is that is troubling you about that past relationship, and to really let yourself move forward. The Wheel of Fortune, let's see what our clarity is there. The Magician, yes. Okay, so a couple of feels for this. Number 1, it's a huge hopeful sign for your future as you do let go of this past. But also, I can't help but be drawn by the bare chest here and the bareness here. So maybe part of your new beginning is to recognize you did get kind of hoodwinked in the past. There was something that you fell for, right? And so maybe it's part of your new cycle is to trust in the magic again and trust that you can be attracted to the right person. Remember, with our shadow, if there's something in you that you need to release, a habit or a mindset, do it. The magic is here supporting you. And then our 4 of Wands clarity, we have the Knight of Wands. Okay, Knight of Wands, a nice match. Some people would say an offer is coming, or it could be a man, a partner. I'm not doing the gender, but the idea of the person with the intention of making an offer to you. But I would say your inner being is more calling you to make the progress yourself between the 4 of Wands and the Knight of Wands, and just let yourself do that development of your own self-confidence, right? And again, through the open portal, what is it that you can change about yourself to make yourself more magnetic and more appealing to partners. That's what I really think will give you the best results for sure. But overall, a really positive reading is just like, look at your past. What is it that you're stewing over? And have you hurt someone else? And has someone hurt you in a way that you really can let go of, so that you can really feel that sense of inner love from your inner being? Okay? So, excelente. Now I'm going to move on to our last one, and this is the ammonite. And the ammonite is such an interesting one because the ammonite is a fossil, and so it kind of cracked me up when I was thinking about it. See the spiral in there? This is an animal that's fossilized here, and so that immediately made me think of what's fossilized in you. You know, what kind of unforgiveness, or what are you chewing on? What's in your past that is bothering you, still gnawing away at you like a living thing? Okay, now the spiritual meaning of ammonite is like a filter, that there's a filtering. And I think that what's happening for you with this is that you are needing to filter some of what you're thinking about love, or what you're thinking about your inner being. And what that means, you may be thinking, what is she talking about, inner being? So your inner being says, hello, it's me, and this is my message of love for you. But I would say that the filtering too could have something to do with the way you talk about things, the way that you describe things, that you might need to just filter how you talk. Could there be any I wanted to say complaining, or you just in the habit of how you use your talk could be important to what this message is about for you. Anyway, so what a great set of 3 cards this is, group 3. So we have the Hermit, the Ace of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. So when I look at these cards, the first thing I'm aware of is that the Hermit is a card of self-seeking. So this reading to me suggests that you have really done a lot of work. You have taken responsibility for your part in your past relationships. And in a way, when I look at the portal card, I think to myself, well, she used to be in a cloak of black with a big hood, so for you, it looks like you're just wearing this very lightweight, lacy, black, shadowy skirt, and that you've done the work, that your character, again, gender is not important here, they're symbols, but the idea that you're not cloaked anymore, like the Hermit here, that you're able to accept your darker sides and really almost enjoy them. You're holding light right in your hand, and there's sparkly light all over. So I believe that if you picked this ammonite, it's just a sign that your inner being is thrilled with all the work you're doing. Ace of Swords is 100% victory card. It suggests a new beginning. The swords are the suit of words and ideas and your thoughts. A perfect night on Valentine's night to make some very new, real choices about what kind of partner you want. Get really specific. There's great material out there on YouTube and in books. For example, The Soulmate Secret by Arielle Ford. She's one who found her soulmate following a certain set of actions, and she wrote a book about it. Wonderful, step-by-step, and that's just one of many. But I would say that the universe is saying yes to you. The King of Pentacles shows me that you also have some balance in your finances, that you may not be the wealthiest person, but you understand a little bit better about what needs to be done, and that you are taking responsibility for a lot of things. So this is really a really lovely, lovely reading for you. And again, if there was a shadowy side, I would say it comes in that ammonite, just to make sure that you filter how you talk about what's going on. All right, so let's just get a little bit of clarity here for you before we move on. Okay, so with the Hermit, we have the Moon. Okay, so I really like that. I like the fact, the balance of it all, because even though you are well prepared and have worked hard to get yourself to where you are right now, the moon reminds us that you have to stay open and flexible to what's coming next, not to be too rigid. There will be confusion in the love walk. You know, of course there is. You'll be knocked off your horse sometimes. You'll be howling at the moon. And with the full moon that's happening right now, so I would say also to do a kind of an audit. Anybody who has broken your heart, just leftovers of heartbreak, do a ceremony or a ritual in the full moon and write it down, tear up the paper, and really make a full decision of moving on from the past. And also just to accept that a certain degree of uncertainty is important for making an exciting life. So you don't want to be afraid of confusion. As long as you find your center, you will always know the next right step. And strength is right behind the Ace of Swords. And again, with the Strength card, second time it's shown up in these readings. And I love the gentleness of this strength. I love that, yes, you've had to be strong like a bull, rawr, but the fact is you can back down. You can wear a lacy garment. You can be light when you need to be strong. So be gentle. You don't want to scare anybody. And then on the King of Pentacles, we have the Two of Swords. So choices, when you look at her, she's completely fully developed, ready to take a choice and just lay down those swords. So when it comes to moving forward, I believe that your inner being is strongly telling you, with all these court cards and the major arcana that are here, that if you stay connected to your deepest source, you will always know which is the right choice to take. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening to these readings, being a part of my life, and I look forward to more connection later on. Take care, y'all.